like if you see the definition of technology, that specifically is something which basically make the processes and the functions efficient, reliable, and smooth, right? So like we have seen that there are blueprints, like designs, which are again written documents. They basically set the criteria for a specific function. Similarly, if you see contracts, they're also like blueprints for the collaboration and the engagement between two parties. So obviously, it if we talk about the test of whether it qualifies to be leveraging technology for smooth functioning, yes, it does, right? Now, a lot of organizations, a lot of systems, they have moved and they realize that the importance of technology in their day-to-day functioning, and the current scenario where suddenly a pandemic struck. People also realized how technology is important. I mean, it was not restricted to one particular system or function. So every other function and department, basically, they realized the need of having a good technology system in place. And the companies who were already way ahead in terms of adopting technology, they were way ahead than other organizations. They were quick to the change. They were quick to respond to that particular change. Similarly, in legal also, it has become really important. Now. The requirement is not only from the perspective of that it makes your life smooth or functioning easy, but also from the perspective of, if you see specifically when you talk about contracts, there's a lot of internal hidden insights within your contractual documents, which you can actually leverage on. If you actually go deeper, analyze those requirements, you can actually do a lot of assessment, and that the results which you get generally, that helps you in generating a lot of insights, which ultimately impacts the business decisions. To your question that how exactly technology is helping legal and contracts, there are n number of ways where you can actually leverage it. Specifically talking about contracting, that has seen a lot of development over the period of time. A lot of organization has moved from traditional contracting practices, tracking things manually to CLM tool. Now, CLM tool, obviously, a majority of companies have realized the importance of it from the tracking perspective, from the contract lifecycle management perspective, obligation management perspective, revenue recognition perspective. But if you see, there is a further, next level of growth, which we can foresee. Which a lot of organizations are going to actually get into, and going to, I think a lot of them have already started realizing the importance, which is through AI and the use of machine learning when it comes to running things efficiently and smoothly. Yeah. So the first thing which is very essential to ensure over the period of time is that you are having necessary systems in place where your tracking is done, where your documentation is proper. So obviously, as I said, there are a lot of contracts management tool which does the obligation management. But with AI, obviously AI is which we call as artificial intelligence. Another extension to is a lot of a lot of people are talking about blockchain and smart contract, but I'll just restrict it to AI. Now, how does it work? Obviously, it works on algorithms, right? Certainly, there will be machine learning involved where you actually train the tool, right? So one of the tools I got to work on while I was working on the organization was basically a machine learning capable tool, which used to actually, derive insights from the contract, and it used to be trained from the perspective of you teach the tool to show that how a particular provision will look like. So, for example, if I have feed in some 100 indemnification clauses in different contract after annotations, the tool will actually learn. Now, the learning will not just be based on the provisions, but also based on the positioning, the kind of contract it is, where exactly the clause is positioned, right? What words, the key terms are being used. So apparently, what will happen once the tool is well learned in terms of how this works, they'll be automatically would be able to generate insights the time you'll be processing those contracts or those documents. Tool might be able to just process 2,000, 3,000 contracts in like 5 to 10 minutes, and within 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to actually provide you with all what you wanted to see. For example, if you wanted to make the tool focus on certain provisions, you wanted that tool to specify that, what are my change control provisions there in the contract, what indemnification obligations are there, what payment terms I have agreed to, or what penalties are being charged and stated. So ultimately, those will be done within fraction of seconds or minutes. And similarly, the insights which you can further derive through use of these tools, that will actually provide you with a lot of insights. And obviously, all of this happened through machine learning. Obviously, you'll have to actually train the tool to do these things for you. But ultimately, once you have done the training, the precision level has crossed to a certain extent. You'll be able to generate a lot of good insights. One example could be, the SLA penalties. It's basically different blocks carrying different information, which are further, very secured. There's a technology which is distributed ledger technology, which are used in smart contracts, right? Now, obviously, there are different aspects which we have to understand. Now, adoption of blockchain, specifically, the adoption of blockchain, when we talk about regulatory aspects, doesn't specify that, yes, you have adopted smart contracts also, right? Because there could be a possibility that a specific country or a specific system has adopted blockchain as a technology. Now, blockchain is actually, if we talk about as a whole, it's a sphere, right? And ultimately, your smart contracts would be just one use case within blockchain, right? Where you can actually drive value from blockchain, because ultimately, because of its structure, the way it is created, your data integrity, and obviously, there are different codes being placed in a specific block. So ultimately, if you want to make changes to one block, ultimately you'll have to basically change. There's a hashtag, technology which is used, which I read somewhere. Ultimately, if you have to change one hashtag, you have to change the entire tag for or the codes for the overall blocks which is scattered, right? So obviously, I mean, if you see, there's a lot of data security issues being dealt with, right? So and with every country, every system focusing on a lot of data breaches. I mean, since everything is over web, we are using smartphones technology. So first criteria is that where actually it opens up for discussion. Second is with respect to your consideration, because there's a lot of discussions going on with respect to whether cryptocurrencies are acceptable in a specific jurisdiction or not, right? So considering your consideration is one of the essential aspects of contracting, right? In this case, you're going to derive that consideration through cryptocurrencies, right? Because your payments are being converted in that particular format, and accordingly it is being transmitted between the parties. So from that perspective, if you see, then again the second challenge is whether that crypto form of cryptocurrency form of consideration is accepted or not. If it is not accepted, obviously in that case, it will not have enforceability. The contracts, the smart contracts will not have enforceability from that perspective. So obviously, it looks like that the recognition is going to happen. And in the long run, I think, while, as I said, a lot of organization has moved from traditional way of contracting to having at least a tool in place now, right? So every other organization you meet, either they have a contract lifecycle management tool, or they are at least, evaluating a better tool. So from that perspective, I think the next round of disruption is going to be in terms of implementing smart contracts as soon as possible. I think like Bajaj recently actually enforced, not enforced is not right, but they basically implemented some, I'm forgetting the name, but they recently implemented some blockchain technology within their vendor financing systems.